top of the world, on top of the world. Yeah, I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. Yeah, yeah, I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world.
What's going on, Calgary? Should you plan to list your home this fall? Can we keep the sales momentum up? And that's really what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you an overall update on last month's housing market, and also, since this is our first time live show and the live show together here, I'm going to explain what the plan is going forward as well too. Now, if you haven't met me yet, my friends call me Mike Abou, and I'm a real estate advisor with Remax Realty Professionals, and I specialize in helping families buy, sell, and invest in real estate. First off, I just want to thank you so much for being here. And also, if you have any questions as we're going through today's live show, you can go ahead and leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try to get to them throughout or definitely at the end. This is a local stream, and welcome everyone. I'm really excited about the stream, especially with it being our first one together. And our biggest item that I'm going to cover today is the housing market, which we'll dive into here shortly. But first, I wanted to just talk about a couple of house items. The first one is about the giveaway that I started about 4 weeks ago. It was a $2,500 cash giveaway where I'm picking a winner every couple of weeks to win $500 in cash. And our first winner was Medusa, and our second winner, which was about a week ago, was Alex. So congrats again to you both. And the next draw is going to take place on Friday the 27th, with the last one on Christmas Day. Now, the good news is that you can still enter, and all you have to do is head over to mygiveaway.ca. On that page there, you can go ahead and enter your details. And then once you enter your details, you'll get an email to confirm your information, and then you'll be set to go. Next is really about this show, the local stream, and what the plan is going forward. So I was doing something similar in my private group, and thought it would be a great idea to do a live one publicly with everybody to be able to join, where I'm going to cover updates on the Calgary housing market. We'll talk a little bit about some headlines and news items that come up, for that couple weeks period of time, as well as answer any questions that you might have. Visit virtually with everyone here, see how everybody's doing. And I may bring a couple guests as well, every now and then. But for now, it's really just to see if the timing is working right, what day to do it on. So we're still kind of figuring that out. It's not really set in stone yet, as I'm still figuring out, when the best time is. Having said that, actually, why don't you go ahead, whether you're watching live or if you're watching the replay later on, go ahead and leave me a comment below. What would be a good time for me to go live and talk about the market and answer your questions? Is it Friday at 10 a.m. or is it maybe on the weekend? Is it better? So go ahead and let me know for each one of you. Go ahead and comment below and let me know when maybe a good time might be to go live. And once we have that figured out, by the way, make sure to stay tuned, and I'll be posting that very soon on all the platforms that I'm active on. And the plan is to go live, and we'll go live on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, and might possibly add it on Facebook as well too down the road. So make sure, stay tuned for a proper schedule and time moving forward too. So let's see who we have here with us today. I know there's a few people watching. Alan from Regina. Hey, Alan, how's it going? Hope you guys are keeping well and safe, and things are well for you. And before we get started here, let me just get a sip of water. And I also wanted to mention for everybody that's watching, I have a guide that I put out every season, and it's really about buying and selling. And if you wanted a copy of it, it's just really things to consider when buying and selling. This is the fall edition, and I cover everything that you should be expecting, anything that's forecasted for the rest of the year, as well as a little bit of information when you're looking to buy or to sell. And if you want a copy of it, make sure to give me a call or even send me a text at 403-809-9386. And I'll make sure to send the copy out your way. I still have a couple hundred copies left, and the next one will be coming out. In January sometime. So for the winter edition. So, but for now, let's go ahead and see how the Calgary market is doing and go through that. And I'm just gonna pull my stuff here. So let me just make sure my slides are working properly, and we'll get set here. Perfect. So we're going to cover a bit today. We're going to talk about the update on the Calgary housing market, where we're at, the answer to the question, can we keep this momentum up? We're also going to look at the biggest obstacle we face, and even into what we can expect. And definitely, going into 2021, what are some of the questions that might come up? So let's go ahead and get started here. So as you can see on the first slide I have here for you, I reference a quote that we've all been hearing about. The housing market has experienced a strong V-shaped recovery and is now exceeding pre-pandemic levels. So, and this is, very much to be true. If you remember back just a few months ago, as we shut down everything and we went into lockdown, real estate sales took a big hit. As you'll see, from the slide here, our hit in April was quite low. We went down, I believe, as low as 63% lower in sales compared to last year. But since things have opened up, this industry has recovered considerably. And there was a lot of factors that helped with that, which we'll discuss today as well. Now, I want you to keep in mind that as I go over these numbers and what it all means, I haven't yet taken into consideration from what you all know by now, that in the past week here in Alberta, we're seeing a spike in COVID numbers, and there's been some restrictions already put into place and implemented. And very likely we'll see some more restrictions come into effect, as we move forward here throughout the week, especially, with places like Toronto just wanting to shut down, Manitoba as well. So we definitely need to keep an eye. So I want you to consider that everything I'm sharing with you today, I have yet to take into consideration what the impact might be if we go into a second lockdown, for example. And as we proceed forward, and maybe on next show, I'll make sure to cover those items as well too. So, but for now, I think we can say that we started out, since things opened up this year, strong, and as people were able to to come out from the quarantine or from lockdown, that momentum continued on throughout, and we're still seeing it early as well this fall. If we look at some of the key metrics relative to the recovery, things like showings, for example. So just so you understand, there's an app that we use called Showing Time, and that's what we use to book showings for clients. And the app recorded a spike, an increase in showing activity throughout the year since things have opened up, actually over 60%, which is a great number. As well as, pending deals are up, sales are up. So we're looking, definitely, all these indicators are saying, hey, we are on track to get ahead of where we were last year at around this time, and even the information that we've reviewed really suggests that we've worked through pent-up demand and we're settling into a market that definitely is moving along quite well. So let's go ahead and look at some of the numbers for October, compare them to last year, and discuss that section a little bit here. So as you can see, overall sales were up just under 23% compared to last year, 1,764 homes sold. New listings, we're sitting at just under 4%, so 2,461. Inventory currently sitting at 5,833, around 12% lower than what we were last year. And the months of supply at 3.31, which is down about 12% from last year. Next, if we look at the benchmark prices, which have trended slightly up over the past few months, and definitely in October, overall residential was up 0.5%. Detached was the one that was leading the way at 1.8%, and semi-detached, as well as row housing and apartment, they all have declined. So they're lower compared to last year, anywhere from 1% to 5.6% in their row housing. So, and let's also have a look at the benchmark prices. So as you'll see here, benchmark prices overall for each type of home, 422,600 is the overall total residential, and with detached definitely again leading the way at 489.8, and apartment as well as row housing, it looks like, they were both under 275,000. So let's go ahead and have a look at what the October sales and inventory levels looked like for each type of product. And as you can see here, the detached was up 35% year over year. Inventory was down 22%. That's a great sign for anybody that's looking to sell. Semi-detached up 21%, and inventory was down 21%. Row up 9%, inventory down for row 6%. And the one that's really struggling is apartments. Sales are down 6%, but inventory is up 9%. So again, if you own an apartment and you're looking to sell, you definitely will have a lot of competition up there. So here's a quick look at what each zone in Calgary as well. I'm just going to pull this up here quickly. So this shows you a little bit whether we're up or down on each sector in Calgary, from the north, northeast, south, southeast, the entire city of Calgary and the different sectors. And as you can see, and this has been trending like this for a number of years. A lot of times the north, even sometimes the northwest sector, as well as the southeast sector, seem to have a lot of high turnover and sales up. For example, if you look at the listings to ratio in those sectors, in those communities, we're over 70%. While if you look at, the segment of the market that really struggles is the, city center or the core. A lot of the numbers trending at 50% or lower. So I'm hoping that this gives you a really good idea in terms of what's high in demand, what's selling, and what some of the different sectors in Calgary look like. So if we look at an example, if you own a single family detached home, it's definitely a great time to sell with inventory being low and demand being high. It's a great opportunity to get top dollar. While on the other hand, if you own an apartment, I mean, you'll have a lot of competition out there, and the pricing is definitely still trending downward. So, there's different strategies for each one as we talk about it that we can discuss. But if it's a single family home, a detached, under the $600,000 mark is what's really helping Calgary sales keep going and moving forward. And apartments is definitely pulling the overall numbers down. So before we continue on here, I just wanted to also mention a couple things that I've set up a special page for anybody that has even further questions from what we're going to cover today. So if you are thinking or have been thinking about, selling, buying, if you have some questions about real estate or even investing or anything like that, if you go to planwithmike.ca on there and you click on the Let's Get Started button, I've connected that directly to my calendar. So you can schedule a quick, 15-minute call with me. We can chat a little bit about your situation, answer any questions that you'd have. And if it makes sense to either, buy or sell or move forward with the next steps, then we can discuss those as well too. So there's definitely, I just went over a lot of the good things that are happening in Calgary and kind of cover a couple bad things here shortly as well too. Let's see who's with us here as well too. So Alan says all is good. Yeah, that's great. All is good, staying well and preparing for a holiday season that will be different due to COVID. Yeah, absolutely, Alan. Good to hear that markets are recovering. Yes, markets have recovered and they're doing quite well. There's a couple of bad things or criteria that we can look at here shortly. But that's good to hear. And yeah, we're all getting ready for the holiday season. Definitely a little bit different. I know my wife has been online ordering stuff for the last couple of days, and yeah, she's trying to avoid kind of going out and shopping in person. So we're doing a lot of stuff online. Mel, nice to see you here. How are you? Hope things are well. And starting late, it's all good. There's always going to be a replay as well. So if you're curious about, what I covered so far, the replay will be up. But it's nice to see you here. Hope you guys are doing well too. So again, don't forget, if you or someone maybe is looking to make a move in Calgary, just send them to planwithmike.ca. I'm happy, my calls are free, so I'm happy to get on a call with them or with you, answer any questions, and see if there's anything that I can help with. But for now, let's, we'll continue on. I'll go ahead and pull up my slides again, and I'm going to cover a couple things. Still some good stuff, but some stuff that's not so great as well either. So let me just pull that up here. Now, the question is can we keep this overall momentum up? And to get a very clear picture into that question, we really have to look at the overall economy. We know real estate has fared very well during this downturn, and we're very thankful for that. But what does Calgary, what does Alberta overall look like in the economy? So let's have a look at that for just a few minutes here, discuss it a little bit, and start with consumer spending. So as you can see on the graph here, it shows that we dipped down in April down to, I think, around 37.5 in consumer spending, and it kind of started to slowly come back up even in a wider V shape, from what we can tell from the graph, where on average, consumer spending is within a couple points of where it was back in January. And that's a really encouraging sign. We want to see that to continue to return as consumers are able to go out and purchase goods and have certainly the income and the jobs to do that. And certainly areas that were heavily impacted by the coronavirus, like things like, for example, travel, still has a lot of time to go for recovering, to recover from that. So, but a lot of the industries are doing okay. Definitely real estate is one of the ones on the top there. And we just want to continue to see everybody recover, people going back to work and, making money and buying, and, consumer confidence and spending is looking good. So if we also look at the unemployment rate at over 11%, over 11%. And as we look at this over the last even 5 months, the unemployment rate has been creeping up. And I'm not suggesting that that is a good spot to be for unemployment, but we do definitely need to keep a watch on that, as we'd like to see people get back their jobs to where they're able to provide for their families and for themselves, And if we look at what some of the experts are saying and projecting, they're saying that that's going to continue to rise, potentially going into 2021. So ideally, we want to see unemployment fall, even to at least where we were at the start of the year, to a level around 7%. I mean, even 7% is not that great, but we don't want to see it continue to rise, because that's a very key indicator as we move into next year to see that number at least stabilize and start to come down. So we'll be reviewing that again, and we'll be talking about some of these factors again as we move on. Now, another factor to look at is mortgage deferrals, and that's an important factor as well. Alberta actually has 1 in 5 mortgages being deferred, according to Mark Kalinowski with the Credit Counseling Society. And it's it's being deferred in the next few months, and will give us a really good, a much better idea as these deferred mortgages come down and we see the number of deferrals decrease. Ideally, again, we want to see people come off of deferrals, still knowing that they have their jobs and being able to earn money and then be able to start paying their mortgage. We don't want to see that to stay where it is. And we want people to come off their deferrals. We want them to, number one, make sure they have their job back, working, earning money, and being able to pay, the expenses like with the mortgages. So at the end of the day, what does this all mean to you? And what does it all mean? How can it affect you? What are some of the key takeaways that you can look at today? We know we've got high unemployment. We know we've got a large number of people still deferring mortgages. Are we going to see a housing crash, for example? I know a lot of people, a lot of buyers, some that even I talk to, they want to wait to buy because they anticipate or think, there's going to be a housing crash. And that's a really good question. And it's one that I'll definitely be covering more in detail before the end of the year. But for now, let's review the good things that are happening. We know that since the big drop in April, as an example, consumer spending and confidence is back to levels compared to where it was January this year. Demand and sales are high year over year, especially in the detached sector. It's definitely leading the way. And inventory is low, which means it's bringing down months of inventory, stabilizing prices, and in some submarkets, driving prices up. Interest rates, for example, are at an all-time low, which is driving buyers to the market and will continue to be low, according to the Bank of Canada, I think till at least 2023, what they said in the last report or announcement. Now, a couple of concerns, definitely would be the high unemployment rate and the number of people that are still on mortgage deferral. And another factor, which we haven't covered today, is equity. And it's one that I'll make sure to, we'll cover that in a future episode. We need, and we'd like to look at, our homeowners, our Calgary homeowners, more at risk to go into default or foreclosure. Where is their equity level compared to what they owe? If it's nice and deep, which we'll have a look at, that's a good sign. But if it's not, if they haven't built equity, if, for example, if you're buying a home and prices are dropping, like in an apartment sector, a lot of them are losing whatever equity they built. So if you bought in 2013, 14, and prices have come down, you're losing money. You might not even have enough to cover if you sell. So those are things that we'll need to look at as we move forward. But considering what we have gone through this year, and even though A lot of industries have yet to recover. The housing market overall is doing well. And certainly as we go into the winter months and, continue on throughout the remainder of the year, we're going to stay on top of that. I'm going to continue to look at inventory, at interest rates, at things like supply and demand. What I would say is this, that using all of this information, being out in the market right now, it is very critical. So people might be saying, what is happening? I have some fears about what 2021 may bring. I have some fears about, what's going on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with this. And that is that it's a quote from the Wall Street Journal, and it says, truth is attainable by laying fact upon fact and then fact upon fact. So before I break here and I try and look if there's any questions, keep that in mind, that we don't have a crystal ball. Even though I'm still waiting for mine on Amazon, it hasn't arrived. And we might not know exactly what is going to happen in the future. But the things that we can control are looking at what the facts are telling us, what the numbers are telling us. And then based our decision going forward on that, because those are the things that we can control. We can look at what's going on. We can look at trends. We can look at sales. We can look at unemployment rate, and we can make a good guess as what to do. Is it a good time to sell right now? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sit and wait for a housing crash, like some out there are putting, which I'll cover again in a future episode. So it's important to take that into consideration, that truth is attainable by laying fact upon fact and then fact upon fact. So I'm hoping that that's making sense to you. And then I want to thank you, first of all, for joining me here and then sticking around. And hopefully a lot of these numbers and what I shared with you answered some of your questions. I do know one of the most common ones I've been getting a lot that I'll try and answer today. Again, like I said, I don't have a crystal ball. I wish a lot of us did, and we can know exactly what's going on. Just to cover quickly, when the pandemic hit, sales definitely did go down. And when we locked down, when we shut down things, and there's been recent talks in the past week in Alberta that, with the cases going up, that we might go into lockdown again. And but not taking that into consideration, the real estate market has recovered tremendously. I mean, it's done really well. And mainly due to low interest rate, low inventory, high demand. So there's a lot of criteria that I covered today, to help kind of guide you on what to do. But one of the main things I always get is this time of the year, a lot of times sellers don't come on the market. It's usually our slow time of the year. So, when you're looking at, halfway through November, December, January, even halfway into February, things are normally slower. Inventory is lower, and unless people have to sell, put their property on the market. But what I'm saying right now is that it is critical to come on the market. So just like you saw in a detached, inventory is quite low and demand's still high, sales are still up, even in semi-detached property. The only one that's really struggling is apartment. So if you own an apartment and you're wondering what to do, we have to look more at the micro segment, exactly where you are, what's moving. Can we make your property stand out in terms of pricing it right, number one, making it look good. And I know a lot of people have fears in terms of, listing. What does that look like with people coming in their home? Well, we've been doing a lot of virtual showing. We're doing a lot of 3D tours. We're doing a lot of video. And this kind of came easy to me because, I have over a dozen years experience online with marketing and sales and doing stuff online. So it was a very easy and a quick transition from me, and a lot of my clients are benefiting from it. Even to give you an example, just recently, one that I just listed, semi-detached, actually hasn't even hit the MLS, and we have it conditionally sold. And that's the power of marketing. That's the power of putting the word out there, building anticipation, building excitement to get people, informing people to come and look at the property before we even put it on. And we got a really good offer on it that we couldn't refuse. So there's definitely a lot of demand, and with inventory being low, and I think it'll even might be a little bit lower going into the Christmas season, January, February. Again, this is all talking with the idea that we're hopefully not going to go into a lockdown. Hopefully everybody will do their part and the numbers of COVID-19 will come down. If we have to go into a lockdown or more restrictions, I'll be doing another review, and then we'll talk and we'll cover that a little bit more. But for right now, if you are seriously considering selling, if you are seriously considering a move, let's get on a call, let's chat together. You can always go to planwithmike.ca, or give me a call, 403-809-9386. And I'd be happy to have a chat with you. In regards to this show, hopefully you're enjoying it so far. If you have any comments, whether you're watching it live right now or on the replay, if you have any questions, leave them. I definitely do check every comment, every question. So I'm up sometimes late looking at that, and I'll definitely get back to you. So make sure to leave a comment, leave a question that you have. The next one I plan to do on this, let me just look at the calendar quickly. I know the plan was, and my idea is to do it on Fridays at 10 a.m. and every second Friday. So the second one we'll do is, we'll do December the 4th at 10 a.m. and I'll probably cover this one's sales. And again, if you have any questions, send them my way. And I just want to thank you, everyone. And I see Mel here says that she'll be talking to me soon. That's great. Look forward to that, Mel. And stay safe, stay well, have a great season. I'll see you in a couple weeks here. And if you haven't entered the giveaway yet, go to mygiveaway.ca. Get registered. There's still, I think, 3 more I have left to do, and the last one being on December 25th. Again, it's great to see everyone today. And if you're watching the replay as well, give me a thumbs up, give me a comment in the comment section, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great week, everyone.